Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for top ways to empower your employees through financial wellness. My name is Rose Gebkin, and I'm the marketing manager for BrightPlan, and I'll be moderating the chat today. I'm also going to be joined today by two of my colleagues at BrightPlan, Sean Goheen, who manages our partner relationships, and Dr. Melody Robinson Wright, who is a financial wellness consultant. Before we jump into today's topic, I would like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event and get the best possible experience. You've joined the presentation today listening using your computer speaker system by default. If you would prefer to join over the telephone, just select Switch to Phone Audio using the up caret on the audio button at the bottom of your screen, and the dial-in information will be displayed. You can also choose Hide non-video participants on your video option for a clearer viewing experience. You will have the opportunity to submit your questions to today's presenters live by typing your questions into the Q&A section on the control panel at the bottom of your screen. You may send us your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Today's webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a follow-up email within the next week with a link to the recording and the presentation slides and relevant links. And now I'd like to share a little about BrightPlan. BrightPlan is a global leader in total financial wellness. We provide a comprehensive global solution that addresses all aspects of employees' financial health at every stage of life and empowers HR teams to enhance the employee experience and better attract, retain, and engage talent. The unique combination of our digital platform and expert financial planners enables employers to deploy financial wellness solutions at scale while delivering personalization for their employees. We have a lot of great content to cover today, and I'm really excited to hear from our panelists. Again, you will have an opportunity to ask your questions throughout today's event, so please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And now, without further ado, I would like to hand it over to you, Sean.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sean Goheen, and I'm happy to welcome you to this webinar, where we're going to dive into a topic that's really more critical than ever: top ways to empower your employees through financial wellness. Before we begin this presentation, it's really important to understand how financial wellness impacts your employees and certainly the work world. More importantly, your employees are moving through a work world where financial wellness and financial stress impacts them on a daily basis. Financial stress is no longer a silent struggle for employees. It's a growing crisis with tangible impacts on both individuals and organizations. BrightPlan's 2024 Wellness Insight reveals some eye-opening statistics. So let's start our conversation with a poll question. What percentage of employees says financial stress affects their overall productivity? So when you think about this, what percentage of your employees are impacted by the overall stress of their employees? 81% of employees say that financial stress impacts their overall productivity. Additionally, employees are asking for support, with more than 75% of employees seeking more financial education for their employers. It's clear that workers are looking for practical tools and resources to better manage their finances, highlighting a growing demand for employer-led support and fostering financial literacy. Providing financial education not only addresses key employee needs, but also positions employers as proactive partners in improving well-being, boosting engagement, and attracting top talent in today's competitive job market. Financial goals matter, with 65% of employees believing that achieving financial goals would significantly lower stress. It's evident that supporting employees in goal setting can directly enhance their overall well-being and productivity. Helping employees set and achieve financial goals fosters confidence and stability, enabling them to better manage challenges both inside and outside the workplace, creating a more resilient workforce. These numbers make it clear. Financial wellness is a key driver of overall well-being and workplace performance. When employees feel secure about their financial future, they experience less stress, which leads to improved mental and physical health. Providing financial wellness support can enhance employee satisfaction and morale, leading to a more positive company culture and greater alignment with organizational goals. So let's dive deeper into the true costs of financial stress. When employees are worried about making ends meet, their focus shifts from their work to their wallets. Financial stress drives not only productivity losses, it's also related to distracted employees, reduced focus, and workplace performance. The constant pressure to meet financial obligations can cause employees to feel anxious, overwhelmed, making it difficult to stay present during work tasks, and as a result, decision-making, creativity, problem-solving, all of those abilities suffer as financial concerns dominate their thoughts. There's even broader impacts: increased absenteeism, turnover, and mental health challenges. When employees are financially stressed, they may be forced to make more time off to deal with personal financial issues. This can lead to higher absenteeism rates. This disrupts team collaboration, delays projects, and puts an additional strain on other employees, all further affecting productivity. These costs, both human and economic, are too significant to ignore. Employees today are looking to their employers for more than just a paycheck. They want support systems that empower them to feel secure and confident in managing their finances. So let's take time for another poll question. According to Franklin Templeton's Voice of the American Worker study, what percentage of employees believe that their employer should offer resources to help them save for retirement and manage finances? 93% of employees believe that employers have a responsibility to not only help them save for retirement, but also help them manage finances. Historically, though, financial wellness may have felt like a separation of church and state for HR, but we're witnessing a culture shift. Wellness initiatives, once focused solely on physical and mental health, are now incomplete without financial well-being. Employees are increasingly expecting employers to take active role in providing resources and tools to support their financial goals, their security, and their needs. As financial stress continues to rise, employees are seeking workplace solutions that go beyond traditional compensation, such as financial education programs, budgeting tools, and retirement planning resources. This shift isn't just about meeting expectations. It's an opportunity to differentiate your organization. With pay transparency legislation, like in Minnesota this January, companies that can't offer top dollar are finding new ways to stand out. Benefits like financial wellness programs are becoming a critical part of attracting top talent and retaining the employees who drive success. Ultimately, financial wellness isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about enabling your employees to thrive in their roles, in their personal lives, and as part of your organizational culture. Supporting financial well-being fosters a strong workplace culture that drives engagement and leads to organizational success. So today, we'll explore how you can integrate financial wellness into your broader employee experience strategy and how you can help meet the growing demand for this critical support. Now that we've touched on the profound impact of financial stress on the productivity, engagement, and mental health, let's shift our focus to solutions. I'd like to bring in Dr. Melody Wright into the conversation. Dr. Wright, it would be helpful if you would introduce yourself to our audience, and then we can jump into this discussion.
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Melody Wright. I am an accredited financial counselor and educator with over 10 years of experience serving individuals and organizations in the education, development, and incorporation of financial wellness solutions. Here at Bright Plan, I have the privilege to serve as a financial wellness consultant where I'm able to further partner with educate organizations to deliver financial wellness solutions that enhance employee financial well-being across workforce. So I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Wright. Really appreciate you taking time to be with us as well. So, question
Sure
we get
thing.
all the time is, what can we do as employers to proactively address the challenges we just touched on? How can we empower employees to take control of their finances and in turn thrive in both their personal and professional lives? From our perspective, this is where proactive, comprehensive financial wellness programs come into play. These programs go beyond just providing tools. They offer employees education, resources, confidence to make better decisions, reduce stress, and really engage more meaningfully at work. So let's start with just a fundamental discussion about financial wellness programs and how they empower employees. So maybe take us through a little bit more on what makes up a comprehensive financial wellness program.
Sure thing, Sean. But before I do that, let me take just a quick second to set the stage a little bit because, I've been in this financial wellness space for a while, and I'm going to be honest with you, not really much has changed. Now, historically, financial wellness programs in the workplace, they've just been centered around financial education that takes a one size fits all approach. And this approach is often focused on retirement education or wealth building with one off seminars and maybe some workshops to support it. And what I'm not saying, I want to be very clear, what I'm not saying is that education on these topics isn't important because it is. But what we're seeing is that this type of education just isn't meeting the needs of a majority of today's employees. So, this is why we're seeing some of the lowest levels of financial literacy and why people are just really struggling with that day to day money management. So what's happening is employees are asking for support. They're asking for resources to help them manage their money. And as a response, we're starting to see this shift, this evolution of financial wellness and programs that, as you mentioned, encompasses more support and resources. So these comprehensive financial wellness programs, they include things like money management tools that allow employees to be proactive. It includes goal setting, financial coaching, on-demand education that has video components with it. And these educational topics, they go beyond what we typically see with financial education programs, which is budgeting, saving, investing, and maybe some debt reduction. There's so much more. And there's also customized workshops and even online courses. So, what these comprehensive financial wellness programs are doing is that they're creating equity and equity through access, excuse me. And it gives employees the ability to be able to truly start to take control of their financial lives in a way that works best for them.
So really what you're talking about is this evolution in these financial wellness programs. We're not just providing abstract financial advice, right? We're
Right,
offering
right.
tools, we're offering resources to help employees tackle real life challenges in real time. So when I think about it, Dr. Wright, it makes sense to address something as central to daily life as just basic money management, right? Especially when those concerns are affecting employees every day with their focus and productivity at work.
True. And we have to remember that money management wasn't something that most of us were taught in schools, right? It's something that we're just learning by piece filling and experience here and there. But also, we have to remember that money is involved in almost every single decision that we make in some form. Where we're going to buy our groceries, where we're going to stop and buy gas, where we're going to buy our coffee, send our kids to school. So many things involve money. So it's a continuous thread that runs through our life. And because of this, finances are going to be a top concern for employees. But with it being a top concern, it's not like employees can just say, okay, I'm going to leave this concern at home and I'm going to deal with it later when I get off work, right? They can't do that. So employees, they're bringing these financial concerns to work with them. And while they're at work, they're actively trying to problem solve. They're trying to come up with solutions. And when they're doing this, they're not able to focus on their job. They're unable to focus. So there's going to be a loss of productivity. There's going to be a loss of morale. There's even going to be demotivation where you got an employee that's just there because they're just there. They're not able to do anything or be active. And so while these financial concerns, they belong to the employee, they are still costing the company. They're costing the company almost a full day's worth of work within a work week, up to the tune of billions of dollars. And so that's just one of the reasons why having a comprehensive financial wellness solution in place is going to matter. Now, there are three reasons. I'm going to give you the other ones. Now, the second reason why it matters is because we are seeing that there is a disconnect between the support that employees feel and then what they feel like their employer is actually providing them. Now, we talked about these financial concerns that employees are facing, right? A lot of these financial concerns, they're what I like to call silent stressors. There isn't a physical manifestation where you see, Sean just got a call from a bill collector. I see that all over his, like, you don't see that, right? So these employees, they're dealing with these silent financial challenges. They may be worried about how they're going to afford to send their kid to college. They may be worried about the fact that their landlord just raised their rent and now they have to hurry up and find a place to live. They might be dealing with chronic pain or something like a dental issue, and they're thinking about, well, how am I going to afford to get treatment? And because employers can't see these financial concerns that are impacting their employees' well-being, then they aren't changing the financial wellness resources that are being provided because they feel like it's adequate enough. And when these financial wellness resources aren't changed, what's happening is that it's impacting employee morale. Morale is going to be reduced. There's going to be a reduction in retention. And there's also going to be a lack of trust because employees just feel like their employers don't get it.
Yeah, and I think the real issue is, just as you said, employers are not fully understanding the stress because of this as a silent stressor. They're not understanding the stress that their employees are under. So the employees are showing up to work. They're trying to put their best foot forward. They're trying to put their work persona up and on. But behind the scenes, what's really happening is this overwhelming amount of stress from financial pressure. So I think you had the first two reasons. Maybe take us through the third reason why these programs really matter.
Yeah, and so the third reason why programs such as this really matter is because when employees can't get support from the workplace, they can't get support at home, then they turn to other sources like social media, TikTok, if that's still around, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, right? They turn to those types of mediums. They turn to blogs, they turn to podcasts. They go to families and friends or even coworkers to get their advice. And these people may not even know how to give them the proper advice, but they turn to them because they are just seeking a solution. And with financial literacy being so low, when they get this advice from these random places, they aren't able to discern whether it's good advice or bad advice. But what they do know is that it's there when they need it and it's something for them to use. So they're going to act on it. And unfortunately, this results in employees' situations going from bad to worse, are just them making financial mistakes that really impact their finances down the line. So what we're seeing is that employees want to feel supported. So when you have a comprehensive financial program in place, what it's doing is that it gives employees access and a place to just start, a place to begin. And then when you compound that with the tools, support, and guidance that they need to navigate their unique financial situations, they're going to be able to do it with confidence. It also allows employees to choose what they want to focus on instead of being given a plan or a roadmap that just isn't meeting them where they are. Instead of saying, here's how you build your retirement, portfolio, they want to know, well, how am I going to pay down debt? Because I can't get to retirement if I'm dealing with all this debt. For example, let's say you have an employee who just found out that their partner is expecting. This employee is going to be focused on becoming a new parent, and they're also going to be focused on the financial costs that are associated with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think would I rather rely on the algorithm in TikTok to provide me financial advice for how much it's going to cost to raise my child, not only the medical costs, but the childcare, the other home costs, or would I rather have this be curated, cultivated, expert-driven advice that's sound and academically proven? So
Right.
certainly understand the differences between the advice given over social media and those that provided by really a foundational comprehensive financial wellness program.
Exactly. Employees are going to want to choose something that they can trust. And because an employer has a comprehensive financial program in place, now this employee that's a new expecting parent What they can do is that they can engage with education around the cost of raising a child, and then they can use money management tools that allow them to immediately begin to create a financial plan that not only helps them to navigate how to handle and savor these new costs associated with becoming a parent, but also look deeper into the benefits that the company may offer to see how costs can be offset. So through this life transition, this employee is being supported, which allows them to show up to work less stressed. They're going to be more engaged. They can focus. Productivity is going to be improved. They're going to want to stay at the company because they have all these tools and resources that they can access, and it's also going to include increasing morale, which can go a long way to support attracting top talent.
So I feel like we now have a clear understanding of certainly the importance of these financial wellness programs. So let's talk about a question we get all the time, which is how are these programs different than what a lot of employees have access to now via their 401k providers, their financial institutions? I mean, even my credit card company is offering me financial guidance and advice. So how are these programs different than maybe what I'm getting from those types of services and providers?
So having access to education is great. I'm all for being able to access education and to be able to learn about finances. But let me ask you this. What happens when you feel like you need support on a certain issue and you go to look at the education that's being offered and it doesn't have anything to help you with your immediate concern? Let's say you're drowning in debt, but the education being offered is on retirement planning. When people can't get the help that they need, they're going to lose trust. They're going to walk away feeling more defeated and alone. And what happens is they find themselves making rash decisions out of a place of just needing to do something. I need to act. So, if we're serious about supporting financial wellness for all employees, we have to be able to provide them with education and tools that can help them to immediately take action. So, a comprehensive financial wellness program not only includes education, but it also includes resources and what is called just in time education. And what makes just in time financial education so different is that it ensures education, workshops, and resources are tailored to your workforce demographic. Their needs and concerns are readily available.
Yeah, and this makes complete sense to me. I think about just life happening, right? Things happen, and oftentimes those things are going to impact my financial well-being. So what I learned a month ago about how to save might be completely different now when I'm in a different situation. So I think understanding the just-in-time resources that are available and making sure they're tailored to my situation when I need it most is critically important. And then I also think that within the workforce, the way in which education speaks to me is going to be different than maybe any of my colleagues, right? So the workforce is
Right.
so vast, so diverse, so different. So maybe talk a little bit about how these financial education programs really kind of stretch across the entire workforce.
Sure thing. So, there are five different generations across the workforce. And within these generations, you have different subsets of populations, right? So you've got employees who may be focused on retirement. You have employees who are newly entering the workforce. You have employees who find themselves in a population that we like to call the sandwich generation because they're juggling caring for their children, but also caring for their parents. You have minority groups. You have veterans. You have employees who identify with certain communities, which makes up these different ERG groups, BRG groups. And there's so much diversity. There's so much nuances in terms of backgrounds and what people are going through day to day. So each and every employee is going to have their own unique financial situation that they're working with or through. So just in time financial education is unique in that it doesn't boil financial wellness to something that is one size fits all. There is something there to support everyone through their journey.
So such a diverse and dynamic workforce. How do you ensure that financial education you're offering truly resonates with every individual, like meeting them exactly where they are and where they need to be? So could really a key to bridge this gap between education and action lie in beyond just tailored just-in-time resources? Like how would you think about that from your unique experiences and kind of your immediate concerns?
Yeah, so I really think that the goal, whenever we provide education, is to go from an employee consuming this education to now taking action on the education. And so it's really about giving the employee the right resources at the right time. And that's what's going to make the hugest difference because it meets them where they are and it helps them to tackle maybe what's top of mind for them. But not only tackle what's top of mind, but give them the confidence to take that action. Because, like I said, when employees feel supported and they know how to manage their finances or where to turn to for help, they're going to feel less stressed and they're going to feel better equipped to succeed. So let's take, for example, maybe you have an employee who's made some financial mistakes, right? And they're actively working to fix that. They're working to pay down their debt. They're working to build their credit because their overall goal is that they want to buy a home. They want to be the first one in the family to be a homeowner. So this particular employee can now engage with education and resources that can help them to learn about different types of debt repayment strategies, not just debt is bad and you shouldn't have it, but how do you go about actually paying off this debt? Here's one strategy, here's another strategy, and here's a third. And they can also learn about factors that impact their credit score. So now that they have this knowledge, they can then choose a repayment strategy that fits their needs while also incorporating positive money habits that are going to boost their credit score and lead them to being able to be a homeowner. So this can even work in the context of benefits. Perhaps you have ERG groups within your company and there's a mom ERG group. This mom ERG group, through just-in-time financial education and resources, they can feel even more supported because they're able to attend workshops that are tailored to understanding company benefit offerings at different stages of motherhood. So there's so many ways that this type of education can support your employees and help them go from just consuming the education to actually acting on the education.
So this makes sense, right? So there's a library of financial education materials. I can learn how to buy a house. I can learn to save for retirement, perhaps save for my daughter's college. But when you really think about the needs of employees, how do we bridge that gap between tailored education and some of the unique, deeply personal realities that each employees face? So I think about it. There's individual nuances. There's cultural, familial, emotional ties to these conversations. How do we get even deeper into helping an employee understand beyond just providing the education for them?
So, Sean, this is where one of my favorite sayings is going to come into play, that personal finance is personal. This is where we're going to really pull out that personal in the personal finance because no two employees will have the same experience. I mean, you and I, for instance, we may have some financial similarities that maybe we've had student loan debt or maybe we've had to take out a car loan, but the nuances and factors behind that are going to be so different, especially in how they impacted our lives. So even with an education that's tailored to employees' needs or interests, there are still going to be things that an employee will need to address to be able to feel like they can navigate through the help that they're being provided and then apply that to what they're learning, apply what they're learning to their life. So remember, I said the goal is to go from taking this education, turning it into action, and then we want that action to lead to that employee experiencing whatever financial wellness feels like for them. So the best way to do that is to then personalize the education and information that the employee is receiving. In fact, employees are asking for this. They don't want financial wellness guidance in a vacuum. They want to see how acting on education impacts them directly. Okay, you told me to do all of this, but like, what does that really look like for me? And this can be done in so many ways. You can offer personalized guidance in the form of one-on-one sessions with a certified financial wellness planner or an accredited financial wellness or financial coach. There can be personalized money management tools or including AI that proactively provide tailored advice and guidance to the employee so that can see how this education can really look like within their life.
So now I feel like you have a process, you have the ability to support and really instill confidence in your employees to act on what they've learned. But then let's take this even deeper because financial situations oftentimes are really complex. It's not just that I have a credit card that I need to pay down. I have a credit card I need to pay down. I might be late on my rent. I have a car that that needs work. all of these things come into it. So it's not just these simple one-to-one issues that I'm having. These are really complex. So talk to us a little bit more about how these financial conversations really help impact an employee's day-to-day life with these hyper complex situations.
So, Sean, you're going to hear me repeat this a lot: education and action. And I believe that personalized support is going to be that catalyst that takes an employee from education all the way to financial wellness. So this goes beyond action. This goes all the way to them experiencing financial wellness. Because what personalization does is that it empowers employees to navigate what can sometimes feel like complex financial situations, as you mentioned, with clarity and confidence. So these just-in-time education resources and things, they're great because they give an employee a place to immediately go and get information on a financial concern. But now what we're going to find is that some employees are going to be able to act on that information, but other employees are going to say, okay, I got all this information, but what do I do with it? How do I start to apply that to my life? And so resources that are personalized are going to come in and be able to fill in these blanks. For example, when an employee is new to the workforce, benefits is going to be brand new to them, right? So they're weighing options like choosing between different health plans, or they're trying to figure out if they should have an FSA or an HSA. And so when it's personalized, having access to a trusted certified financial planner or a financial coach, or even AI that provides personalized responses can make all the difference in that employee's experience. So this personalized guidance, it's going to go beyond surface level information that an employee may have read or examples that they saw. What it's going to do is it's going to help them to understand how each option aligns with their entire financial picture and then everything that's happening in the background. So from there, they can make a decision that truly works for them.
So I love that you're action oriented, really taking that personalized guidance and making sure that employees are able to take action. So with your experience, talk us through some real life scenarios, some real action on how employees can begin to implement this knowledge and put it into place.
So as a financial wellness coach, as a accredited financial counselor, I have experience leading classes and seminars and even working with individuals one-on-one. And I'm going to tell you that the key factor that moves individuals from just passively consuming education to actively implementing what they learn is the ability to see their situation in the solution and then have the support and resources to be able to see that plan through. Now, again, this can be done digitally through money management tools that actually show an employee or an individual how choosing one option over another impacts their overall finances. They can see how their choices in just day to day life can negatively or positively affect their financial situation. AI tools, right, where employees can chat and get a real time personalized response can be helpful. But personalization can also be human led, as I mentioned, through a coach or a certified financial planner. What I'm finding is that when employees are able to get this type of personalization and see themselves in the solution, whether it be one-on-one conversation or the using of money management tools, they feel like there is a safe place now for them to just really work through their concerns. They can ask questions that they normally wouldn't ask because they've been afraid of being judged or being ridiculed for not knowing a certain amount of information at a certain age. And they can also get tailored advice. So what we're going to find is that this holistic approach that includes personalization with education and tools, it not only improves employee outcomes, but it's also going to improve organizational outcomes because we're going to see that boost in morale. We're going to see that boost in productivity. We're going to see employees feel empowered to take charge of their financial health. So now we're seeing them be able to show up at work as their full self and not call out as much because they're dealing with other issues. And they also have a higher appreciation for their employer because their employer is able to provide them with such a robust financial wellness benefit that is allowing them to truly live the life that they want to live.
Absolutely. So let me challenge you a little bit.
Okay.
What happens if a company, your company, can't offer employees this personalized financial guidance or even really offering some formal financial wellness program. So let's think about those employees, those employers who really want to help their employees with these challenges, but they haven't been able to take that step forward into a full financial wellness program. What are steps today that these employers can do to help emphasize financial wellness and provide that continuous encouragement to help employees achieve their financial goals?
Yeah, so in supporting employees through financial wellness doesn't mean that you have to have a financial wellness solution in place. That's great, but you don't have to have it because there's so many other things that you can do to let employees know that you care and let them know that you're there to support them. And one of the ways that employers can do this is to start by creating a company culture that just really emphasizes financial wellness. So employees know that you actually care. And so I know you mentioned the separation of church and state earlier when it comes to HR and just, employee finances, but employees really need to feel supported by their employers. They need to see that their employers care. And so what this means is that it can't be one-off conversations. It can't be just something quarterly in a newsletter. It really has to be something that is ongoing. And this can be done through intentional programming or even initiatives that are centered around the financial support that employees are telling employers that they need. So we know that all employees want to achieve financial wellness. So the step that employers can take is to start by maybe supporting them in reaching or setting and reaching financial goals. So get them started with goal planning. And we've all set goals, right? We're at the top of the year. This is prime goal setting season. I don't know how many people are still in line with their goals. I've dropped a few off, but goals can be set any day of the year. So this is a great place to start. So what employers can do is they can help employees learn how to not only set goals, but how to track that goal in real time and see how changes to their finances can impact the likelihood of them actually achieving that goal. That is one way where employers can start to help employees improve their financial wellness if they're not going all in with financial solution tools.
Yeah, such a great point about the importance of real-time tracking and visibility of employees into those goals. So let's lean back on your experience working one-on-one with individuals. Share some insight into what that actually looks like. Real-time tracking, visibility into goals, just basic goal setting to begin with.
Yeah, so when I would work one on one with individuals, one of the first things that we would work on would be goal setting, because this is an area that can often feel really overwhelming, especially when people have goals like paying off a large amount of debt or they want to save large amounts of money. Most people can't move past the how. Okay, I set this amazing goal, but like, how do I do it? Which unfortunately, if they can't move past the how, that increases stress or it causes people to completely give up on the goal because they just feel like it's just not worth the effort. It's too much. So what I do is I start by teaching them. Start by teaching them something called SMART goals, and you've heard of SMART goals, right?
Yeah, I actually had to look this up to remind myself, but for those that also had to look this up, I'll do it for you. So SMART is an acronym. It's a goal setting acronym, oftentimes applied to financial goal setting. So SMART means the goals are specific, measurable, achievable. This one's big, realistic, which is exactly what you're talking about, right? And they're time-based,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the SMART acronym that goes into goal setting. So yeah.
Yeah. And I love SMART goals, and there's so many different goal setting approaches. But what I really like about SMART goal setting is that it helps that individual work through breaking down the goal. So in the breaking down of the goal into different segments, that can alleviate any overwhelm. And it guides the individual through setting up the goal and then seeing what is required to bring that goal to fruition. And if that feels out of reach, if that feels too much, they can tailor that goal down even more to make it into something that feels more mentally manageable. So to give you an example of this, let's say you have an employee who's working to save at least 3 months worth of living expenses. But when they see that total amount that 3 months equates to, that makes them feel really nervous. That's a
A
pretty
lot.
hefty
Yeah.
number to them. So goal planning can help them set goals around smaller milestones. Say, instead of you saving $30,000 for 3 months worth of living expenses, and that's kind of high, but I'm just throwing a number out there. Instead of you saving up that much, let's just focus on you saving up at least one car payment. Or let's just focus on you saving up that first $1,000. And so when you're able to break goals down into something that is more mentally manageable or more digestible for that individual, this is going to help them to say, you know what, I actually can do this. So now I'm going to be more proactive with my money management, which is going to allow me to maybe see where I can be more flexible with my finances. I now feel more confident. So they're really engaged on making sure that they can actually bring that goal to fruition. And what employers can do to create a continuous engagement around goal planning is that they can host challenges. They can create communities around different goals that employees can join. And these goals can even be tied to increasing engagement with different benefits. So when you're doing this as a community or you're creating a culture of financial wellness in the company, you're not only boosting morale within your organization, but it also helps HR create a capacity for support. So your HR team, an accredited financial counselor, certified financial planner, they can come in and help support in leading these workshops to get it started. And through the community or groups within the organization or the company, employees can work together to track their goals.
So let's take some time as we kind of wrap up this conversation and really highlight how deeply connected financial, physical, and mental health really are, right? If you're addressing one, it oftentimes has a ripple effect that impacts the others. And this thought reminds me of something pretty simple, which is, something that happened to me. It's a toothache, right? A toothache seems like on the surface, obviously a very painful, physically painful situation. But when I think about how I show up to work with it, right, it's messing with my focus, right? I'm focused on the pain. I'm not able to focus on work. It's impacting my mood. It's probably impacting my sleep. It did impact my sleep. And now on top of it, it's going to impact my financial outlook too, because I know it's going to be expensive, right? Whatever's happening to this, silly tooth is going to impact my view on finances. Maybe it's going to take me off of vacation planning or alter the way I'm saving. So maybe talk a little bit about why it's so important to integrate all of these elements, the financial, physical, and mental across on something as silly as just a toothache.
So a toothache is definitely not silly because I dealt with that last year. And let me tell you, I went through the physical, mental, and financial aspects of just even trying to deal with it. And so when we think about the interconnectedness of physical, mental, and financial health, I mean, you got to think about it. Each one impacts the other. And I may be biased, but I also feel that financial health has a greater impact on the other two areas of well-being because of something that I said earlier, with money being a thread that runs through every single decision that we make. So if you have an employee who has a toothache, right? Maybe it starts off as something small, like, oh, my tooth is hurting, let me get this checked out. But the dentist then refers them to the endodontist and for a possible root canal. Now, the pain was manageable, but now because they're thinking, oh, shoot, I got to get a root canal, now they're worried about the unexpected out-of-pocket costs that this expense is going to cause, disrupting their ability to afford their day-to-day needs. And now, because they're stressed about this financial disruption, they're going to start experiencing physical and mental manifestations of that stress, which can be like digestive issues, loss of sleep due to anxiety and worry. So this employee is going through a lot. And now they're still expected to show up to work as their best selves. And we know that's not going to happen. So again, this is one of those silent stressors almost. What we see is that this dental problem, it started off as something physical, but the concern around how it impacts their finances exacerbated it into a physical response and also, exacerbated physical response, but also introduced a negative mental response as well. So when you can integrate support through holistic solutions, an employee who's dealing with something like a toothache or any other circumstance, they have a place to go to get immediate support. So if this doesn't balloon out of control, they can start by engaging with their company benefits to understand what is available through their dental insurance, right? They can start to proactively utilize the money management tools that are available to them and see if there is a path to affordability if they look at different scenarios and make different changes, and also see how estimated costs can impact other financial obligations. They can maybe talk to a mental health provider because they're dealing with a lot of anxiety around money. They can get support from a financial coach or a certified financial planner who can offer guidance and empathy on not only managing this financial situation, but also providing actionable steps such as possibly exploring a payment plan through the practitioner that allows them to treat the issue immediately while increasing affordability. So the great thing about having a holistic solution in place is that one, it allows employees to get support for all their ailments, physical, mental, and financial. And because that support is immediate, you have an employee who can show up to work, ready to work, because this concern is no longer at the top of their mind.
Amazing. Dr. Wright, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. We covered a ton of ground today. We
Yes.
focused on comprehensive wellness programs, just-in-time financial education, personalized financial guidance, and really the importance of helping employees now through an emphasis on something as basic as setting goals.
Yeah.
And all of this, as we just talked about, ties back to the overall physical, mental, and financial well-being of employees. So thanks for a great conversation. Really appreciate it. Let's bring Rose back in because I think I've seen some questions pop in. So hi, Rose. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. We have had a couple of great questions come in, so I'd like to see what we can get answered in this time. The
Sure.
first one is from a team. They're just getting started, and they're asking if we, as an HR team, are just getting started with leadership, taking financial wellness seriously at their organization. Which of these elements that you discussed today, Melody, would be something that they could focus on or get started for those first steps?
That's a really great question. And what we shared are different elements within a comprehensive financial wellness program. And while I believe a well-rounded financial wellness program that includes tools, resources, and education will be the most effective, it truly doesn't have to be all or nothing if you are looking for something to focus on, but it should align with what your employers are asking you for or what they're describing as their biggest concern. And so one of the ways to kind of decide what you want to focus on is to listen to your employees and then evaluate what you already have in place, if you have anything at all, and then consider what may be missing or what can be enhanced to meet the needs of your entire workforce. And then as you begin to incorporate, start small, start with the thing that your employees are asking for, and then begin to add in the different resources and money management tools and so on and so forth, so that you can scale as you see employees' needs and interests changing.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Rose, what else do we have?
So we have another question, and I'm kind of grouping some questions together here.
Sure.
So what are your tips on ensuring that employees engage with financial wellness material? I think for some employees, they don't even know what goals they should be setting financially. So I think that for employers to know how to help them engage with the material would be helpful to have some tips to get started.
Yeah, so employees are going to engage on what is top of mind to them. Remember, that's why just-in-time education is so impactful, which goes back to ensuring that there is something that is available for them and the education is able to meet them where they are. But if you want employees to engage, they also have to know that it's there. Right. So this goes back to creating that culture around financial wellness where it's not just the one-off topic. It's not something that we only talk about during Financial Literacy Month or Financial Wellness Month. This is the ongoing conversation where employees say, hey, you know what? I know where to go to get that support. I know where to go to find this information. And again, it can also be done through challenges that improve that engagement or through the creation of communities or ERG groups where guest speakers are brought in to maybe provide workshops on topics. There could be financial education flyers in the break room, or maybe a space on the company intranet for employees to be able to go to and get reminders about so that they can continue to engage with the financial wellness information that is there.
That makes a lot of sense. And now our next question is from a global participant today. Are these strategies just focused on US-based companies, or would these apply globally to global employees?
Yes, certainly. Our experience is that money impacts everybody, regardless of where they're located. So these financial strategies really work across the globe. So Bright Plan has global strategies, global solutions that really can help support employees no matter where they are, whether they're expats or in country. Certainly, the global need for financial education, financial wellness is very much there and certainly mirrors what we're seeing in the US. Oftentimes, it's even greater need depending on the country and the region. So certainly these elements can work in the US and globally.
Thank you, Sean. It looks like we have time for maybe one or two more questions here. So this attendee says, I'm in charge of HR at a medium-sized growing company, and we have a lot of competing budget items. So I imagine a lot of attendees have similar situations. Do you have any advice on helping the executive team prioritize financial literacy for their organization?
Yeah, I think probably the first thing you need to do is really work on what the business case is, right? So we provided some statistics, highlighting the connection between financial stress, the impacts on productivity, engagement, and retention. So build a really strong business case. We can certainly help support that, but that's probably where it starts. Then I think you take that business case and really start to align it with some of the strategic goals that are out there, right? How is increasing productivity and how could implementing a financial wellness program impact that productivity increase relative to the goal that's out there for the company? So find the alignment of that business case with those goals that your company's setting. And then Dr. Wright talked about this, start small and scale, right? This isn't something you have to do all in at one immediate moment. You can start offering small, whether it's a pilot group or just even offering some fundamental financial education, maybe access to some tools, anything like that is really important because then you can see employees begin to engage. You can see some action, you can see some results and kind of build there. And then that helps instill the confidence in the teams that this is actually working.
That's great. I think that's great advice for everyone. We are coming to the end of our time together today. Did either of you have anything else you would like to add? We
No,
covered.
I don't have anything. I thank everyone for joining us today.
Yeah, really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for great participation, great questions. Dr. Wright, thanks for your expertise, and Rose, thanks for pulling this all together for us. So appreciate you both.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Dr. Wright, for such a great webinar and presentation. Thank you to all our attendees today for attending today's webinar. We hope you found it valuable, and we would love your feedback on our upcoming webinar series and future topics. Please keep an eye on the events section of brightplan.com. That's where you'll see our next webinars coming up for February and March. And also, please be sure to complete the feedback survey that will pop up once the webcast is ended. If you would like more information on how BrightPlan can support your clients or employees, please contact us at info@brightplan.com or visit us online at our website, brightplan.com.